Hi everyone, it's Tamari the Astro Fashionista. Welcome to my channel. I'm always bringing you the latest astrology, fashion, beauty, interior design videos, mainly astrological forecasts. And today we are going to talk about March 2019, which is really exciting. So we have a big month coming up, you guys. There's lots of activities, and make sure that you watch the video not only for your sun sign, your zodiac sign, but also your rising sign and your moon sign. I actually find that the rising signs might be a little more accurate because it's closer to what might be actually in your birth chart or natal chart. So without further ado, let's start talking about March. Okay, so I'm going to start out by giving the general forecast, what's going on for the entire month, and then I'll get into specifics for each sign. So Friday, March 1st, we had Venus move into Aquarius. And Venus is the sign of love and beauty. It's Taurus's and Libra's ruler. And when it moves into Aquarius, Aquarius is an air sign. It's very eccentric. It's very forward thinking. It doesn't like to play by the rules. That means we're all feeling a little more like feisty and rebellious when it comes to love, beauty, creativity, all of that stuff. So that was Friday. On Tuesday, March 5th, this is a big day, you guys. We have Mercury retrograde. I know everyone cannot stand Mercury retrograde, but it doesn't have to always be a bad thing. So Mercury retrograde is actually when Mercury, the communication planet, which is Gemini and Virgo's ruler, appears to be moving backwards. It's stationary, so it's not moving forward. And that can be a time of confusion. There's problems with travel, electronics, communication. So it's really not advised to sign important contracts. It's not advised to travel if you really have to. It really affects more short distance travel, but all travel can be affected. It's not a great time to like send really important emails. Like if you are going to, which we know life goes on, just make sure you recheck before you press send. And if you're signing any contracts, just make sure really to read the fine print. That same day, we actually have, actually not the same day. And I also forgot to mention that Mercury will be in Pisces still when it's retrograde, and Mercury is actually considered to be both in detriment and fall in Pisces, which means that it's not really that comfortable there. So we got to be extra cautious this go around. The next day, Wednesday, March 6th, we have a new moon in Pisces, and it is Pisces season. So when there's a new moon, there's going to be a new moon in the sign that season it is. So new moon in Pisces is all about new beginnings. It's a great time to start new activities, but keep in mind Mercury is retrograde, so it's not really a great time to like launch a business or start a new relationship. This is more about maybe going back to something that you've already done in the past and redoing that over, or finishing something that you haven't finished. That same day, you guys, this is a huge astrological placement. We have Uranus moving into Taurus, my sign. Uranus is the planet of change, unexpected change, disruption. It likes to shake things up. And Taurus is all about stability and keeping things status quo and being really stable and seeing things through to the end. So when Uranus comes into Taurus, which is considered in fall, it's not really a comfortable energy. The important thing about this is that it's going to last pretty long time, till about 2026. Yes. Okay, so Uranus in Taurus is going to bring lots of change on a global level, not just personally. Globally, we might see changes to the financial system. We have Bitcoin, and we're kind of maybe moving away to a different type of currency. Maybe cash is going to go away. Who knows? Maybe there's going to be a new form of currency that comes in to replace credit. We'll see how this plays out. But currency probably will be definitely affected. Agriculture, the way we harvest food. There could be changes to the way we communicate about things. Big, large issues being brought to the forefront. There could be issues regarding, let's see what else Taurus rules. Just overall stability and security, maybe national security. Pretty much anything that falls under Taurus's domain, and Taurus rules the throat. It's all about money, security. There is a creative aspect to Taurus, so there might be some creative global things that are new that come about. But this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Uranus only moves into a sign every 84 years. So will not be in Taurus again in our lifetime, unless somehow we start living to like 150 or something. And even then it still wouldn't be back in Taurus. But yeah, it's a pretty special thing. It just came out of Aries. So those were Aries issues we're dealing with. Now we're dealing with Taurus issues. If you are a Taurus, this is definitely going to affect you. I'll talk about it in the Taurus horoscope specifically. But yes, it's going to be big changes. And we got a glimpse into what these changes were last year when Uranus moved into Taurus for a brief period before it went retrograde back into Aries. So that was between May and November of 2018. So think about what happened during that time, and we might be revisiting. Last time Uranus in Taurus, I believe there was like the Great Depression. So if you go back in history and Google Uranus and Taurus, you can kind of see what kind of things we might be dealing with again. And the Social Security system was set up during that time. Okay, then we have Wednesday, March 20th, the first day of spring. That means the sun moves into Aries. It's the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, fall equinox in the southern hemisphere if you live below the equator. And this is all about new beginnings, you guys. Spring is always a fresh new time. It's actually International Astrology Day. It's the beginning of a new astrological cycle because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. And so in the Western Hemisphere, this is just a new start for the next 12 months as we start a new zodiac cycle. And obviously Mercury is still retrograde during this time, so it's not going to be a up and moving type of start, but it is going to be a fresh new start. We also have a full moon that same day in Libra, and Libra is Aries opposite sign. Every time there's a full moon, it's in the opposite sign of the sign the sun is in. So my advice would just be to be a little more diplomatic around this time, take on Libra traits, because Aries is a very self-focused sign. And then on Tuesday, March 26th, we have Venus entering in Pisces. So it leaves eccentric Aquarius. It enters into romantic and compassionate Pisces, where it's a little more softer. We might feel a little more romantic. We might feel a little more creative and wanting to express ourselves. So it should be a pretty nice time when Venus moves into Pisces. And then Thursday, March 28th, Mercury retrograde ends. So I know that's going to be a really great thing. Everybody's going to be excited about. Obviously, well, not obviously, I don't know if many of you guys know that there is a shadow period before retrograde, Mercury retrograde starts, and after Mercury retrograde ends. So although Mercury will be moving direct, it'll still be moving kind of slow. So just give it about a week or so before you really like make any major moves. But for the most part, we should be safe after the 28th. And then on the last day of March, I believe March 30th, yes, we have Mars entering in Gemini. And Mars in Gemini will bring the focus on communication issues. It'll bring it on maybe media. We might see some more scandals coming out. There's been a lot of tea, you guys, over the past. February was a hot mess. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what type of energy Mars brings to the forefront. Mars is all about action and starting something in aggression. And when you mix it with Gemini, it could mean some sort of like, you know, something's exposed, or there's some sort of verbal arguments or some sort of intense thing that we see maybe on a global scale, but also in your life. So keep watching to see how these astrological transits affect your sign. So this is the Libra Sun, Moon, and Rising March 2019 horoscope. If you don't know where your rising or moon sign is, you can go to my website, astrofashionista.com, click on your zodiac, and then run your free natal chart or birth chart. Okay, so Libra, we have an exciting month in March. We start out the month with Venus being in Aquarius in your first house. That's on March 1st. I mean, sorry, not your first house, your fifth house. Aquarius rules your house of love, romance, children, gambling, creativity. So Venus likes being in the fifth house and likes being in lighthearted houses. And so it could be that you're feeling a little more creative. You're feeling a little more playful. You're wanting to be a little more romantic. Libra already loves romance. Maybe if you have children, there's some sort of, you know, thing that you can participate in your children that's really like fun and enjoyable. It's a good time for you in regards to Venus being in this area of your chart. And then on Tuesday, March 5th, we have Mercury retrograde. And Mercury will be in your retrograde in your 6th house. And the 6th house rules work and service and your health. So that tells me you might be really thinking about that. You might be thinking a lot about work. You might be thinking about how you can be a little healthier. You might be thinking about how you can start a new exercise regime or something like that. I will say, if you're going to start something new, it might not stick. So I would recommend that if you are going to take a new job, or if you are going to start a new workout routine or a new fitness plan or something like that, hopefully it's something that you already maybe tried to start in the past, and then you're just picking up and seeing it through, because anything new is not really supported during Mercury retrograde. But you can try. It's always good to try. It's better than not doing anything, right? So that's March 5th. And then on Wednesday, March 6th, there's a new moon also in that area of your life. So again, new moons are usually about new beginnings, but with the new moon and the Mercury retrograde being so close, whatever you start might not stick. So maybe it's more you're planning things during that time. You're writing them down, and you're something that you're thinking about starting. So when Mercury retrograde ends, you can kind of go gangbusters and see it through. Then we also have Uranus moving into Taurus on that same day. And so Uranus will be moving into your 8th house. This is a heavy place for Uranus to be. I'm not going to lie. It's Uranus is all about change and disruption and just unexpected change. It's not necessarily negative, but it's just something that you don't plan for. And the 8th house is about other people's monies, debts, taxes, death, rebirth, regeneration. It doesn't have to be a literal death, but it could be. So I would just, it might be a time where things happen and kind of knock you off of your feet and things that you don't expect, but something is reborn once that happens. Like something might go away and you didn't expect it to go away, and then you get a large sum of money because of that, or someone might pass away. And I hate when astrology goes that deep. It does, and I don't like to really put that out there for people, but it is something that's possible. Just some sort of change surrounding those subjects. But it could be also a big financial windfall. So it kind of depends on the aspects that are in your chart. That's something that me as an astrologer would look at and kind of tell you how it would play out more specifically. But this is just general. And then on Wednesday, I forgot to mention that Uranus in Taurus is a 6 to 7 year transit. So it'll be until 2026, I believe it'll be in this area. And Mars is there too, temporarily until the end of the month. So then Wednesday, March 20th, we have the first day of spring, and the sun moves into Aries, your opposite sign. So the sun is going to move here to here, and Libras love partnership. So the sun being in that area actually really supports Libra's love of partnerships, going out more, being with people, just really enjoying hanging out. And if you're in a partnership, which a lot of Libras are, enjoying that partner more is possible during that time, especially when some of the other planets like Mercury move up to the 7th house. And then we also have the full moon in Libra on that same day, and that's really important because any new moon or full moon in your sign it's your full moon, right? So there's something coming to fruition regarding yourself. So this can play out in several different ways. It could play out as something happening with your body. It could play out as something happening with your mind, and maybe you come to conclusion about something, or maybe something you've been like contemplating for a long time, you finally get a solution, or perhaps, I don't know, you might want to finally decide to get a haircut or decide to change something about yourself, but it will be something completing in regards to you, anything that involves you. Then on Tuesday, March 26th, Venus is going to move into Pisces. So it's going to move from your 5th house to your 6th house, supporting more of your work, everyday work, your health, service to others. This could be good for everyday work life. Maybe You're enjoying your coworkers more. Maybe you're meeting someone that's going to help you with your job. And once Mercury goes direct, which is Mercury retrograde ending on March 28th, that'll really be good news, because then you'll be free to move forward with some sort of new, I mean, it could be a new job opportunity. Who knows? Because you do have a full moon, so maybe something's happening regarding you and you're getting a new job. Venus is moving here, and you're somehow, maybe it's a big jump and you do make more money. Usually your own money is like second house stuff, but maybe it might manifest as like you get paid out for your vacation and it's more money than you thought. So yeah, it could play out a lot of different ways. It'll be interesting to see. And then Mars moves into the 9th at the end of the month on March 30th into your 9th house of like travel and education. So you might be getting the urge to take a trip somewhere, take a little break, and that will be supported, especially after Mercury goes direct. So I hope you've enjoyed this forecast. I look forward to seeing you next month in April. Thanks.